Hey everybody, it's Manga time once again for the first time in 2013. Happy New Year! And I hope these first 4 days have been good to you. And we've got ourselves a fairy tale chapter 313, The King's Scenario, to review today. And it's a good chapter. Yeah, I'm happy with how fairy tales starting off in 2013. Basically, what happens is we get a lot of exposition. We see future Lucy again, and it's not Edalas. She's actually come through the Eclipse Gate, which can be used to time travel. And that was already told to us, because obviously that's how they were going to defeat Zeref. So this Lucy's come from the Eclipse Gate, which clearly means that the Eclipse Gate does get activated, otherwise there wouldn't be a future Lucy to come back from an already open Eclipse Gate. And she doesn't get to say what she wants to say, which is kind of annoying. She basically goes, the world's going to, then she falls over and she collapses. And so they try and take her out of the Pitfall Palace, because obviously she was at the door, so now they can get out. We then goes back to Darton and Princess Hisui. We get a little bit of exposition here. She's going on about how the gate has already been unlocked with the 12 celestial keys, and they need a human hand now to open the door. And the human has to be able to take the responsibility of changing the future of humanity forever. And Hisui says that she will decide whether or not to go through with the plan based on the results of the Daimato Embo. So clearly what happens when you open the Ellipse Gate, clearly what is been prophesized to happen is going to be cataclysmic. I'm expecting dragon warfare kind of thing, just blowing everything up. And then we go back to Erza, Kagura, and Minerva. Minerva's got the two of them in, quite a bad state. She's got Miliana trapped. Kagura tries to hit her, but Minerva somehow switches places with Erza, and Minerva's got some pretty broken powers. We've barely even seen them. And Erza's like, don't touch Miliana, and then Kagura's like, don't act like you're her friend, and those two start bickering, and Minerva's like, I'll leave you to it, and she walks off. And so now it's Erza versus Kagura. Kagura clearly has beef with Erza because of the whole Jalal situation, and, she says she's going to defeat Erza before she defeats Minerva. And while it would be a huge surprise, personally, if Erza lost, I really don't think she's going to. After she obliterated that entire tower of monsters that time on her own, I don't think there is actually much chance of her losing. Although Kagura is pretty impressive and has still yet to unsheath her sword. So, we haven't really seen exactly what she can do. So it should hopefully be a good fight, and then whoever wins that fight has to take on Minerva, who's calling herself a king, which is kind of interesting. But then we get on to my favourite part, which was the setup for the next couple of fights after the Erza Kagura fight, which is GAJEEL versus Rogue and LAXUS versus Augur. Now, quite honestly, I don't think either of the two Fairy Tail members are going to lose those fights. However, that is very, very good news to finally see LAXUS actually get into the fight. And we're getting those Sabertooth revenge battles that, after Grey defeated Rufus. It was only, which kind of means that Erza is probably going to fight Minerva at the end of the day. That's really awesome, though, that LAXUS is, starting to do something now. And Augur kind of, baits him. He's like, I'm the Thunder Dragon Slayer. And LAXUS is like, just because you can kill gods doesn't mean you can kill fairies. And it's like, whoa. So, yeah, it was a good chapter. Quite a bit happened. We saw quite a few different scenarios. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I'd have liked perhaps more from Lucy at the beginning rather than just her fainting. That was a little bit annoying. And I'd have perhaps liked to see more from the Kagura Erza scuffle. But the setup for the fights was really nice. And, I'm excited for 2013 and Fairy Tail. We should finally get those big revelations about the Daimato Embo. And, yeah, it was a good chapter, Fairy Tail has been disappointing, but the last couple of chapters is pulling it out of the bag. So, I hope it keeps it up for the finale of the arc. So, yeah, guys, don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/mrtomo2304. I shall catch you next time. See you then.